By now, you already know the story of how Monique got blackballed by Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry, and if you don't, then you should definitely go check out the video on our channel about it. She's waited years to come out and say what she really thinks about them, and when it came out, she finally issued an apology to both of them. Well, sort of. She also told them to suck her D. And she's leaked some audio of Oprah Winfrey and had one of the biggest comebacks I've ever seen in my life. So let's get into it because there's a lot to process here. So unless you've been living under a rock, you've already heard about Cat Williams on Club Shay Shay exposing celebrities left and right and calling the industry out for what it is. And Monique said she heard him talking on that podcast and decided to call him up and tell him she loved his truth-telling and wanted to work with him.
Brother Cat Williams, baby, guess what? I'm going to be joining my brother, my twin brother, Cat Williams, on the Dark Matter Tour. So I'm excited. We are excited. I cannot wait to see y'all, Connecticut. I see y'all tomorrow night with our brother, Cat Williams. Albany, New York with our brother, Cat Williams. And I'll say this too. And I told him this. I said, for as funny and as talented as you are, your heart is far bigger.
Real talk.
And that brother done touched our community, baby, in ways that he's never even talked about. Those are the real ones.
Because as they say, real G's move in silence.
Oh.
She's really been out here giving Cat Williams his flowers, and I honestly think he deserves it. Not only did he put her on his tour, he's been out here exposing the dark side of Hollywood and speaking on celebrities for a long time before he did his Club Shay Shay interview. And that's not an easy thing to do in Hollywood. Anybody that tells it like it is usually gets smacked down and reprimanded for it. Or they get blackballed entirely and we never hear from them again. And since we're still hearing about Cat, I'm pretty sure that means he's been telling the truth and he's got just enough power to stay safe out there after he told it. And Monique has had more than her share of haters out here too. They say she should shut up about all the industry drama and tell a joke. Well, let me tell you, she definitely told some jokes when she did her first show on tour with Cat Williams. But first, let me show you what came out about Oprah.
Said that privately. Now, when she said that, see, everything we're saying to you, it can be proven. She had him on speakerphone. And that when she was talking to him, in that room was a man named Reggie Wells, who just passed, who used to be Oprah Winfrey's makeup artist, who he had a conversation with me and my husband. Now, for you babies that's good with the little internet, we had a show on called Monique and Sydney Finding a Way to Be Unoffended. Finding a Way to Be Unoffended. Reggie Wells is on that show speaking about Oprah Winfrey. Reggie Wells said, Monique, I was there that day. He said, and when y'all got off the phone, I looked at her and said, why don't you just pay this woman the money? She deserves it. And she looked at him and said, I won't be paying her nothing. And he said, that's not right, and you know it's not right.
And here's the receipt, just like Monique said.
Brother Reggie Wells. We'd like to introduce him and bring him to the show.
Hey, Reggie, welcome, baby.
Hey, guys, how are you?
We're wonderful, my love. Wonderful. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for joining us. Reggie, before we get...
Here, especially on the subject of the Winfrey. And somehow, because I was there for 20, 30 years. 20, 30 years.
Listen to what Reggie says about going with the flow.
Today, why do we think on a certain level when you get to a part where we're big enough to say things the right way, and we're big enough also to understand humanity and what that means? I feel very pressured about going along with the flow that doesn't make any sense. So when somebody speaks to me, I don't care if it's pop Reggie, I don't care if it's old man Reggie, I don't care if it's look who's there Reggie, I'm going to appreciate the idea that you gave me enough attention to pay attention to me and give me that kind of talk. So I find unnecessary treatment is not even, I don't even know where that comes from.
Here's Reggie talking about how he knew Oprah.
What your background is in?
Well, I became, thank God, a very successful makeup artist in New York City back in 1970. I had 4 decades of doing makeup. So if you name Lena Horne, you name Aretha Franklin, you name anyone that's been and Farrakhan. I got to touch all these people, Beyonce, Whitney Houston, all these people. And I got ready in New York for the achievement that I was trying to do. I wanted to get in television. And here there was this woman from Baltimore, which I'm from Baltimore. Okay, Mom?
Hey!
Come on now.
Born and raised here, taught school here for 10 years.
Wow.
In public school. So I got to know people and I got to understand. I was blessed by God to be able to paint and draw as a little boy.
Reggie was big time too.
After that, the first Emmy ever awarded to a black man doing a makeup show was Reggie Wells.
Come on now.
First Emmy award to a talk show host, because there weren't any but two women at the time as big as Oprah and Sally Raphael. And that's the Emmy that I got nominated for 2 times and won an Emmy Award. And I'm telling you, there wasn't even a category at the time. They invented that category.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, the interview sort of sounded like when an old person just goes on rambling and telling their life story, and then the interviewer has to kind of rein them in a little bit.
Can you give us some insight to her mindset as to why you believe she...
People do certain things, because I was there with Oprah in the beginning, right there in Baltimore. And I tried to see her in Baltimore on television when I was teaching school. The personality was a whole different personality, because it didn't have any kind of thing but a big glow in their head. They didn't have I don't think, the way to carry yourself or the respect. So I saw it change. I saw it change very quickly. I came in there with a degree. Oprah received her degree. And I came in there with a degree. So when I sat down in front of people, I saw the change go deep. I remember.
Reggie talks about how Bill Cosby told her she changed too.
He said to her one time, a long time ago on stage, and he said, you're going to change when you get a certain amount of money. Right there in the audience, I'll never forget it. And she said, Bill, people tell me that. But, I don't think money changes you. I'm going to be just who I am. He said, oh, you're going to change. I never forgot it. You're going to change, and you're going to be very different from what you are right now. She said, well, I just feel if you're a jerk when you get money.
Wow.
So I guess we answered that question.
I guess Reggie thought Oprah was a jerk, huh?
Because when I started the show and I said my feelings were hurt, because for me it was personal. And someone said, oh no, someone just said, oh, we still talking about Oprah? We have to, because here's a woman, and this is just my humble opinion. Here's a woman that when you say things like, I cringe when you call me auntie, well, that's our community. So my question to you would be, is there a disconnect with Oprah Winfrey and the community?
In your opinion?
In your opinion.
There's a big disconnection with Oprah and the community, and I saw it happen.
Yikes, how could someone present themselves as a leader in the black community, but also be so completely disconnected from it? Why did Oprah come down so hard on Monique? Well, she actually went on Club Shay Shay last week and talked about that.
Do you believe punishment? Punishment is not only meant for the perpetrator, but it's also to deter others from said acts.
You see it.
Do you believe the punishment that was bestowed upon Monique was not only to punish you, but to deter others from saying what you said?
Well, Shannon, see here, and I'm going to answer that. But sometimes we act like we don't know our history. See, back in the day when they had us in chains, they would beat one real good.
Right. But in front of the others.
In front of the others, and they let everybody know what you don't want is that type of ass whooping.
Right.
So what they said was, we're going to beat Monique really good. We're going to sit her down. And I made it public. Financially, my family took a hit, Shannon. And when I tell you we took a hit,
right,
we took a hit.
She's pretty sure she was used as an example and that the message is clear: don't cross Oprah. And she says it almost happened again with Taraji P. Henson during the promotions for The Color Purple. See, there are a lot of videos where Oprah is seen being really distant from Taraji. And I think a lot of people think it's because of her speaking out about the conditions on set and her meager pay for her role.
In celebrity news, so this video of Oprah and Taraji interaction has been going viral. So you can see Oprah approached Taraji to stand next to her, but she didn't stand close to her. Taraji had to scoot a little bit so they can be able to take the picture. And then you can also see that Taraji was holding back tears. Fake smiling, but she was holding back tears initially. And if you look closely, Oprah seemed a bit uncomfortable and disoriented. She's looking left and right to see who she can go and stand next to get away from Taraji. She ended up going all the way to her left to Daniel Brooks to stand next to her, and as you can see, she immediately started touching her and grabbing her hands so they can be able to pose for the picture. And then you're gonna see Fantasia kind of looked at Taraji because she probably was feeling Taraji energy and kind of was making sure she's okay. One thing I can say, energy don't lie. What do you think?
That promotion happened with The Color Purple.
Right.
We wanted to act like we didn't see how Oprah Winfrey treated Taraji. In my humble opinion, when you saw her walk up, you saw that there was tension. You saw that there was something happening.
Right.
And then when you see Taraji write her a love letter, it's like, listen, we got to stand tall and stand strong on what we know. We know you were mistreated. We know it wasn't right. We know it was unfair. And then you turn around and say, oh, but Lady O handled it. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that because that allows Lady O to keep on doing what she's doing. And we're in a position of, I don't want to say nothing because we saw how Monique got whooped. Now, again, that's just my humble opinion. But I don't know what...
It honestly sounds like Monique isn't just mad about her situation, but looking out for other black women in the industry that have to deal with Oprah too. And if that's the case, good on her. Now everybody knows that Tyler Perry hasn't come right out and apologized to Monique publicly, but she says he screwed her over just as much as Lee Daniels and Oprah.
It was so important. From Oprah Winfrey to Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels. Now, Lee Daniels was the only one I had to deal with. Did you see Lee Daniels apologize? He walked out on that stage. Not only did he apologize on stage, that man apologized to our children. That man apologized to our children and said, I need to apologize for what I put y'all through. He's the only one I had to deal with. However, it became a problem with Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry that I wouldn't do something and work for free. Now, when you say, well, maybe Oprah feels like she came through it, why can't you?
Right.
Well, there's a story with Oprah Winfrey when she was on the show, People Are Talking. Richard Sher was making $55,000. She was making $22,000. These are her words. It was her co-host. She said, I had to leave because they wasn't paying me fairly.
So from Monique's perspective, Oprah was a hypocrite when she blackballed her and got her industry elite buddies to turn on her. Here's something interesting that Monique said, and she leaked evidence that it's true too.
Called me, Tyler Perry called me, Lionsgate called. When you were on the phone with my husband, you said, I agree with Monique. I agree with the position she's taking. But when it came time to say it out loud, Oprah Winfrey went totally silent.
He even admitted that he started a rumor about her too.
Now, to Tyler Perry's credit, Tyler Perry called us up, right? And he said, I can see the pain in you and I can hear it. And I want to let you know that I would never do nothing to hurt you. But the conversation kept going on. Only for Tyler Perry to admit he did start a rumor that I was difficult to work with. He lied. Only for Tyler Perry to admit I was wrong. And when my movie Boo come out, I'm going to say that, right? Now, here's where, when you...
Monique recorded the call between her husband, and Tyler Perry, and it's been leaked now. And the first thing people asked was whether it was legal for her to do so. It was, and what a lot of people don't know is that in several states, it's legal to record a call as long as one of the parties knows it's being recorded. It doesn't have to be both parties.
What did you hear that man saying?
He said it.
What did he say?
Monique, you know you're not supposed to be recording people.
No. Let me back up.
Okay.
Everything we did was legal. And here's where a black woman really gets the kick in the ass. Had I not recorded Tyler Perry, then it would have been my word
against his.
And then on top of that, it would have been, he's so powerful, we can't even pay no attention to that.
Right.
Well, now I have him on audio, which is legal to do where we live.
Right.
Okay? We have him on audio. And do you know what some people then said? Why would you record him? Just like you sat there and said, you know what's illegal to...
Some of us have actually been waiting years to have some type of proof that what Monique was saying was true and to get some sort of validation, myself included. So, I went and tracked down that leaked phone call so you didn't have to, and I'm gonna break it down for you right here. This is the only channel that will go out of its way to bring you this type of top-notch, high-quality tea and do the research for you like that. So if you could hit those like and subscribe buttons to help the channel out, that would be great. Anyway, here's what I found. First of all, you need to know that Monique calls out Tyler Perry's alter ego, Medea, a lot during this call because she thinks Medea would help her even if Perry wouldn't.
I answered that question. That's a very simple question.
I said to you earlier, Sadiq, that wouldn't be fair. I wouldn't think that was fair.
But what would you want to be done, sir?
How would you want it fixed, Tyler?
How would you want that fixed?
And
how would I want it fixed?
Let me tell you.
The reputation, how would I want that fixed?
Let me tell you.
What exactly are you asking?
Let me tell you. So that, because, and my husband is that part of our team that he has the business conversations. I'm the part of the team that you saw May 13th on the stage. So what I would ask you is, because you're talking in Tyler Perry language, I would ask you to let Monique talk to Medea. Because when you start talking in Tyler Perry language, brother, you talk like you don't get it.
It sounds to me like Monique put the call on speakerphone and recorded it with another device, which makes Tyler's end of the conversation pretty low quality and her voice really loud. But you can still understand what he's saying. Although if you're struggling, you may need to turn the volume up or put on some headphones.
Away from Medea and you became Tyler Perry, the billionaire, this is the conversation you're having. Like, well, guys, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? See, you a brother that slept in your car. And you needed to fight for you to get you up out the goddamn car. See, your mama that you love so dearly. See, this is when I know that the powers that be and everybody saying on the radio and everybody saying on the media, oh my God, it's Oprah and Tyler. They're the ones that can employ her. Why ever would she say it? Because I love them niggas. That's why I'm saying it. Because I'm tired of reading the stories 100 years from now where we had to go through this shit and we watch our brothers and sisters die and suffer in silence and in poverty, and we know they was right. So what I'm saying to you is, Medea, make Tyler step his ass up. I'm talking to Medea right now. Medea, I need you to pull Tyler's ass in the back and say, baby, you watching this sister and you watching her family starve.
Yep, she actually went there. She guilted Tyler pretty hard.
I do. I appreciate you calling us. But when you call me, what you gonna do?
I'm gonna call and find out whatever money is coming in for Precious, and I'm gonna send that to you. I'm gonna send it over to you. Whatever it is, I'm sending it to you.
Well, let me say this. Let me say this, and I want to talk again.
I'm gonna write you a check, Monique, seriously, because no, hear me, because this is the thing about this. And when we start talking about this, we're doing this, and this, we're doing that, and black people doing this, and black people doing that, what we need to understand about that is this: where we are right now, and what we're trying to do, we got some opportunities that a lot of those people didn't have. So what I don't want you to feel one day, not one day, is that you were mistreated or that you were treated unfairly. Now, if that means that I that's what I need to do, then you do that. You do that. You take that and take it from a place of love.
Did you catch that? He said he'd send any money he made off the movie over to her and that he didn't want her to feel like she'd been mistreated. He said a lot of other stuff too, but that was the important part.
You feel if someone says something about you that you were not contractually obligated to do, what would you want them to do to make that right? And it don't have nothing to do with money.
If somebody had said that, let me just try to be in the position. If somebody had come along and said, Tyler's difficult, he's terrible to work with, he's not going to do anything that you want him to do. If they said all those things, right? If that's what the rumor was, and there were other people who knew that was not to be true, I would want those people to stand up and say that's not true.
I would want people to stand up and say that's not true. So that's important too. He said that if rumors were spread about him being difficult to work with, he'd want people to speak up for him. But he didn't do that for Monique.
So, will you and Oprah do that?
I can't speak for Oprah.
Will you do that?
It's my experience. I certainly can. I've never worked with Monique. All I can speak for is my experience on pressure. I don't give a damn about saying that.
Would you do what you wanted done for you, Tyler? It's real simple. Would you do what you would want done for you? Because you told David when he said his experience was wonderful, you said that was not your experience. And the question I would have, what did you experience with Monique and or I that made your interaction with us displeasurable? Especially,
I see exactly where you're going. What made my interaction displeasurable is to have to try to navigate between Precious, Lee, Monique not wanting to do any national press without getting paid, having to navigate through all of that. That's where my problem was.
But Tyler.
But see, when you don't say it that way in the media, it makes Monique look bad. It sounded like your bad experience was with her, not stress about the movie overall. He won't take credit for the rumors about Monique being difficult to work with, but he does tell them how to make it all go away.
The only way this changes, I think, for you guys and where you are is this. I think Monique needs an amazing movie. She needs to be with a great director. And once the movie's done, it comes out. She gets all this kind of buzz. She gets all this.
But then he admitted it.
Say it was wrong, Tyler? To say she was difficult for not doing something that she was not contractually obligated to do? Did you not say that you would feel that that was wrong? Or am I missing something?
I absolutely said.
Then they asked him when he'd stand up and say it, and he said he'd have to speak about the whole experience, not just her.
It was wrong. When do you speak up and say that it was wrong, Tyler? That's it.
Okay, and that means telling my whole experience, which about how I feel about the whole thing. That means telling my whole experience.
Whatever you... Listen, but Tyler,
Explaining the whole situation.
Tyler, here's the thing. You are articulate. You is smart. Okay.
And you is kind.
And you is kind.
Okay?
Listen to me. Listen, shit, this ain't the billionaire. This is me. You gotta cut all that out. This is me talking to y'all.
Then please talk to us, brother.
Talk to us real,
Then,
because
right.
all I'm saying to you is that
I listen to me. I told you how I think that this changes.
And that's it. Basically, there was a lot of back and forth, but he did say that calling her difficult to work with over the fact that she didn't want to do extra work for free was wrong. He just also said he wasn't going to speak on it. So that means that what Monique has been saying about him this whole time has been pretty accurate. Personally, I didn't have any doubts. Did you? Let me know in the comments. That's not the only bit of Monique news going on, though. See, on the Club Shay Shay interview, she told a story where she went on DL Hewley's podcast, and they played Would You Rather, and they asked her a question about which woman she'd rather her husband sleep with. She said she got offended and called DL, and that he was really dismissive to her. He replied to her in a video, too.
A radio show, and I wasn't there at the time. And my co-host, Jasmine Sanders, played a game that we played all the time with everybody called Would You Rather. She apparently was so offended by that she said she got off. She called me. Monique did, and she said I was very dismissive, like, Monique's a liar. When Monique did call me, I heard her complaints, I listened to her, and I pulled the segment. So if I had been as dismissive as she alleges I was, that segment would have aired. It didn't, because I respected her wishes. She's a liar.
Back in 2022, the two got in a pretty public feud because they both seemingly got booked as the main act for a comedy show, and neither of them wanted to back down. He even posted receipts that he was supposed to be the closing act. But somewhere during that argument, Monique posted these old clips where DL said he didn't believe his daughter at first when she told him one of his friends sexually assaulted her. So that was an instance of DL going low, but Monique went straight to hell. He also said Monique doesn't tell jokes.
You know what else you won't see Monique doing? Telling jokes. Monique, if she'd have spent as much time actually writing jokes and writing her Netflix special as she did complaining about not having one, it wouldn't have been trash. It got the worst reviews of any Netflix special in history. Because that's what Monique does. She complains.
But I'll get to that in a minute. DL might actually be onto something about Monique's kids because her son came out against her too. Her oldest son, Shalon, had this to say.
She apparently was so offended by that she says she got off, she called me. Monique did, and she said I was very dismissive, like, Monique's a liar. When Monique did call me, I heard her complaints, I listened to her, and I pulled the segment. So if I had been as dismissive as she alleges I was, that segment would have aired. It didn't, because I respected her wishes. She's a liar. It's also befuddles the shit out of me how somebody who, as a comedian, talks as much shit about everybody else as she does. She has the temerity to be offended about anything as much shit as you say about people. Then she encouraged everybody, allegedly it stems from the fact that I used to always talk shit about her on video after video, and she encouraged her sweet babies to look at the video and find them. Do that. Do exactly what she says. And you know what you're not going to find? You're not going to find any evidence of that, because Monique is a she's lying about that.
Monique and Sid did do a video in response to Shalon, but it's really petty and quite frankly offensive because they basically said not to listen to him because he's mentally ill.
Of a 15-year-old child, you required a man to raise you, and you were acting like a little girl. These are your words. It doesn't matter what context I have them in. This is how you thought of yourself as a grown adult who was someone's mother. Last time I checked, Monique fans, a 15-year-old grown adult who acts like a child but is in search of their daddy, they don't typically make efficient parents. But hey, I could be wrong. On a more serious note, to sit there and allow your daddy to address my mental health in a weak attempt to pass my response off as a moment is disturbing and insulting to those of us who do have mental health issues. The way I presented myself was no different than my mother and her daddy presented themselves when addressing DL Hughley. And her precious sweet babies ate it up. DL is wrong because he's so loud. Mo and Daddy are right because they're so calm. But I, for some reason, don't get the same energy. To simply try to call me crazy is dismissive and cowardice. Attacking somebody's mental status is a clear sign that you have zero to stand on.
Quite frankly, I agree with him, and I'll stand with him on that. Now let's talk about the show she did with Cat Williams. She finally got that standing ovation that she's quite frankly deserved for years.
This female right here is from Baltimore, Maryland, by way of Baltimore, Maryland. Give it up for Monique. Let's go.
She also gave Oprah and Tyler Perry a very public apology.
I have to give him and Oprah Winfrey a public apology, and I'm going to give it right now tonight in front of you in Albany, New York. Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry, I want to apologize for telling y'all to suck my
That is the funniest thing she's done in years. It definitely had me rolling. But it was a long time coming, and I'm glad she's finally in a place where she felt safe enough that she could speak freely like that. I felt so bad for her for being blackballed the way she was. Anyway, that's it for this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe because it really helps us out. And also, leave a comment, tell me what you think about Tyler Perry now that you've heard the leaked audio, and what you thought about her standing O and her apology. And I'll catch you in the next video.